Upload, you guys have been sending us your questions about the new game Watch Dogs all week long, and today we have animation director Colin with us, and he is going to answer what you guys want to know. Welcome, Colin.
Thanks.
So I guess let's jump right in.
Okay.
Our first question comes from JSOC Leader, and he wants to know what inspired you to make the game.
Okay, so when we sat down, we've been working the game for about 5.5 years. We started off with a very small group of guys, just sort of throwing around ideas. We wanted to make a game that would make people ask questions about their lives. You know, we think about our smartphone, we think about that and all the information we put on it, and we think about it being very secure. But you have a game where, you know, we've taken Aiden and we've basically given him a tool that allows him to see inside everybody's, you know, digital life. And if we all walked around and we thought about all of that information that we had, if it was exposed and accessible to people, we might think twice about what we put online and what we record digitally. And the truth of the matter is that there are people looking at our data, that can look at our data. So we just wanted to ask a relevant question for people. We don't want to say whether it's good or bad. We just want people to think about their lives, think about what, you know, and of course experience it through a game. And it makes a fun gameplay context too.
You were saying, you know, it's taken about 5 years for this game to come together. Are there any sort of like real life events that might have shaped the way the game came together? Yeah,
it's funny. People keep mentioning things like with Snowden and you know, even things like the Stuxnet virus. The thing is that actually our core concept goes a little bit further back to that, to just this idea about people's surveillance of people's secrets. But then as we started to look at what happens when people's secrets are exposed, we started to realize how vulnerable everybody was digitally. So, you know, the real world is kind of catching up to Watch Dogs faster than we thought it would.
And I mean, we were talking about a little bit about how the game has sort of evolved.
Yeah.
One person, been lagging about, he asked, why was the release delayed?
It was a very hard decision for us to delay the game. We got very close to being able to launch it. We probably could have launched the game, but it wasn't meeting our real expectation for how some of the gameplay was being perceived by all of the players. So we had to work a little bit harder to expose how the hacking works. We also put a little bit more depth in it. There's some new reactions, new ways that you can hack enemies to take them out. Fine-tuning, you know, when we talk about polish, that's a way that we like to, you know, those are the kind of things we focus on to fine-tune the game.
Great. Well, here's one from Takeout Hunty26, which probably leads in kind of nicely into that. And they're asking, do you think your game will impress gamers? And if yes, how? So tell me about some of the key things.
Well, I think that the longer people play it, I think the more they're going to realize exactly what's in there, how much depth there is in there, because it's very systemic and dynamic. So there's two terms that we use a lot. Systemic is basically not scripted gameplay. So this is where, you know, you have a system of civilians and a system of police and enemies, and all of this reacts together, and it can be quite unpredictable. So we don't script it or control it per se. And what that means is that every time a player plays it, they're going to have a different experience.
Gaming Wabbit asks, can you play mini games with friends? And those are those cool little games on the side where you're sort of...
Well, there's two types. There's AR mini games and there's the digital trips.
Right.
Unfortunately, you can't. Our online experience is for the more dedicated towards the hacking experience, player to player. We're actually quite surprised by how popular the digital trips are. We get tons of questions about that, and you know, it's something that we'll think about definitely incorporating in the future.
Obviously, it's set in Chicago.
Yeah.
First of all, why is that? And then maybe you can also tell us if there is a chance for CTOS to actually go global.
Well, I mean, CTOS looks like a system that could basically be incorporated to any modern city, any developing city. So yeah, sure, there's the potential for that. Chicago has a real problem with crime. And a lot of their strategy for dealing with it is through the use of technology, surveillance, through profiling. All of the things that we're showing you in Watch Dogs, to a certain degree, are being used by Chicago today.
Well, thanks very much to Colin for answering your and our questions that we had about the game. Of course, don't forget to add the official AppleGamer tag as a friend. That way you can catch all of our latest Watch Dogs content.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Colin, and Watch Dogs is out now.
We'll see you online.
Bye.